ISTP weaknesses, flaws, and shortcomings, where the ISTP feel challenged. Everyone has their strengths and their weaknesses, and it is important to uncover these parts of ourselves. Learning more about their own shortcomings can help you to improve and in some cases, simply help you to accept them for what they are. We cannot be perfect no matter how hard we try, and so sometimes it is best to learn where we aren't comfortable and won't be happiest because of these weaknesses. While everyone has their strengths, there are always weaknesses that can hold us back from certain paths or simply make those choices more challenging to endure for us. Knowing where these shortcomings are can also help to find the best ways of growing and developing them into something more manageable. ISTPs are often excellent problem solvers with plenty of natural skills and strengths. Just like everyone else, the ISTP also possesses certain weaknesses or areas where they feel challenged. While these things can often be worked on and improved, it takes self-awareness and being able to recognize where those weaknesses are. ISTPs are more focused on living in the present moment and want to explore things that excite them. At times, this can prevent them from self-reflection, especially when it comes to diving into their own emotions. There are certain areas where the ISTP is likely to struggle and fall short, so it can be helpful to recognize those parts of themselves and potentially find ways to improve or work through them. Don't plan ahead. ISTPs are not great at planning ahead or really looking toward the future all that much. While they are good problem solvers and can be very logical people, they still don't like planning things out all that much. They prefer to take things as they come, finding ways to solve their problems and overcome challenges in the moment. This can sometimes hold the ISTP back when it comes to their careers or certain lifestyle choices, as they don't really care to find ways to plan for or predict the future. They want to focus on the here and now rather than allowing themselves to become caught up on planning for things. While they might have larger goals in mind when it comes to being on time for things or making detailed plans, the ISTP is likely to struggle with this. They can also be late fairly often, and sometimes this can hold them back when it comes to a work setting or even in their close personal relationships. ISTPs simply don't like obsessing over those details and instead want to follow what is most inspiring in the moment. This sometimes causes them to become distracted, and they lose interest in having to conform to a certain plan or strict schedule. Being someone who goes with the flow can be a strength, but not planning ahead or seeing around the corner can sometimes be a weakness. Struggle with emotions. ISTPs can struggle with understanding or accepting emotions, both the emotions of others and their own inner feelings. For the ISTP, it is more comfortable to focus on practical things, and they prefer what is tangible and can be proven. If they cannot see something with their own eyes or find ways to practically solve those problems, then it can be difficult for them to really appreciate or understand it. Feelings and emotions are far too fleeting and don't have a tangible or concrete way for the ISTP to connect with them. When someone is upset or emotional, they can struggle to really find ways to comfort that person. They might want to be helpful when a loved one is hurting, but for the ISTP, it is best to show support in practical ways rather than by being emotionally supportive. While they do their best to be there for the people they love, this can sometimes cause them to seem unsupportive or even detached. ISTPs also can appear harsh at times since they don't always realize how their words can affect others. They focus on what is logical and can deliver information in a very factual manner. This sometimes seems tactless, especially when the ISTP is being a bit too abrupt in how they express themselves. Their intentions are to be honest and direct, but in many situations, this can come across as insensitive when the ISTP is not meaning to be. Struggle with commitment. ISTPs can struggle when it comes to committing to things, whether this be relationships, work, or just planning things out. They find themselves wanting to explore different options and don't like feeling trapped into one choice. This can make it hard for them to connect with things or gain any type of stability in their lives. Wanting to remain free and untethered can make it hard for them to settle down and find things which they are truly passionate about. While the ISTP doesn't want to feel like they are stagnant, there are other ways to create this type of freedom in their lives. Sometimes this can cause the ISTP to bounce around, not really knowing how to stick to something, even in situations where it might benefit them to do so. They lack patience. ISTPs act in the present moment, so they don't like any situation where they must wait or be patient. Having to sit around and feel like they are stagnant can quickly be draining for the ISTP. They can exhibit reckless behavior because of this, wanting to find ways to escape feeling stuck or immobile. If the ISTP feels bored or impatient about something, they can find themselves trying to break free in somewhat reckless and destructive ways. This can cause them to damage their relationships or even their work standing and can set them back in some ways if they don't get a handle on it. This is why finding certain hobbies or activities which keep them busy in the right ways can be so important for the ISTP.